Over the years, many people have asked me where my love and passion for food and cooking came from. It was 46 years ago when I was 6 years old, and my great-grandmother, Nonna was a very special woman. She was born in Montefiore, Italy in 1887. She came to America in 1908. She was 21 years old. She didn't leave us till New Year's Eve Day, 1995. She was 108 years old. And she influenced my family, not just in Neapolitan cooking, but the Neapolitan way of life. She was here for 87 years and she never spoke a word of English. If you didn't speak Italian, you weren't talking to her in all of those years. You either spoke Italian or you didn't talk to Nonna. I remember my very first memory. I was 6 years old. And my great-grandmother would knead that dough. And I remember because she was in her 90s and her knuckles were, swollen with arthritis. And I remember watching her knead that dough and knead that dough and knead that dough. And I could see in her face that it hurt, but it didn't bother her. She kneaded that dough and she put it in that bowl and she put the cover over it. And then she went and watched the Mass. My Nonna watched 3 Masses a day. She'd watch her Mass, the dough would be ready, and we would sit down at the table. And the first thing she gave me was a broken piece of metal coat hanger. She gave me my coat hanger and a little ball of dough. And she took her little ball of dough, and we rolled them out. And you got the coat hanger, and you put it on the edge, and you rolled it around the coat hanger, and you pulled it out, and you had 1 fusilli. And we put it on the towel that was on a board. And we'd fill the board, and she would take it in the bedroom, and she'd slide the towel off onto her bed and come back with another towel and the board. And we continued to make fusilli all day long until we had enough fusilli to feed the family that night. It was her love and her passion and her teachings that created my love and passion for food. The second memory that I have is I was 10 years old. It was a very famous bakery in Little Italy called Bova's Bakery. It was established in 1932, and I lived directly across the street. And by the time I was 10, the Bova family, they were in their 3rd generation, and there were 6 brothers and sisters. And each brother and sister ran the bakery for a 6-month period. And my father, Big Benny P., he was very good friends with Gilda Bova, one of the siblings. And when it was her turn in the summer, he got me a job working in the bakery. So in I came, 8, 9 o'clock at night. I went back there in the bakery. I learned how to make bread, seeded rolls. I made spacchis and bastonis, escali bread and French bread. And then we went to pastries. And I made cannoli shells, and we made cream puff shells and cookies. And this happened all night long. All night long we made bread and cookies and pastries. And Gilda, she had 2 sons, Joey and Anthony. And they helped her run the bakery. And Anthony was a short, little Italian guy with long hair and a big Italian nose. And he looked like a penguin. So his name in the North End was the Gwyn. Everybody called him the Gwyn. And one night the Gwyn comes to me and he says, "Kid, we're gonna make pizzas." And I'm 10 years old. I go, "Anthony, I don't know how to make pizzas." He goes, "Don't worry, I'm gonna show you." And the next night I come in and Bova's had a little side storefront. There's a couple of little windows and a door that you could see into the back of the bakery and get the smells coming out of that screen door. And he cleaned up that little window area. The first night I came in, brought the rack of dough over, and he stretched a couple out, and he said, "Have at it, kid." I probably ruined 6, 8 pieces of dough that night. I put my hand through one fell, he looked at it, he goes, "What's that?" I don't know. At the end of the night, I says, "Anthony, I'm sorry." He goes, "Don't worry, kid." He goes, "We're gonna do it again tomorrow night." Tomorrow night I came, more dough. 6, 8 pieces by the end of the night, and it's late. It's like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I finally had a piece of dough on the peel that looked like a pizza. And I says, "Anthony," I was excited. I went, "Anthony, I got the pizza." He goes, "Tomorrow we go live." Now, Anthony was a very famous guy in the North End. He owned one of the most famous bakeries in Little Italy. So the first night, 15 pizza orders come in. I go, okay, I got 15 pizzas. The next night it was 20 pizzas. The next night it was 25. By the end of the week, I had 50 pizzas. And Bova's is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Never closes. You know, back then when the bars and the clubs let out, that's the only place you went that was open at that time to go get something to eat. And what started to happen was people would go in, get something to eat, and they came around and they started watching me. And they started watching, you know, this little 10-year-old kid at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm stretching pizzas in the window, and the more people that came, the more excited I got. And I started practicing, and I learned how to slap the pizza side to side. I spun it this way, and I spun it that way, and I just remember saying to myself, I love this. And I think back to, you know, my great-grandmother and the Gwyn and everything they taught me, and I was really young, but, you know, you're never too young to realize what your passion is in life. And if you follow it, you can end up like me, a guy who made fuzzilis at 6 years old and threw pizzas at 10, who now has a white apron from Master Chef. Thank you, guys.